Today we have representing Mercury Insurance, Wil Wendt. How's it going, Wil?
Oh, great guy.
Well, we're going to jump right into it and get you on the hot seat.
All right.
Everyone hates insurance. What's going to be different when they buy a policy from Mercury?
Well, Mercury, all insurance companies create different policies, and they're really created for different scenarios, different people. And Mercury has created a policy, and your job, as the independent insurance agent, is to find out what the people want and what their expectations are and how to take care of it. And Mercury's created a really good policy to take care of the typical scenarios that people undergo. People that are driving to and from work, going to school, typical homeowners, that want their house taken care of. There's a lot of cheap policies out there that people like to buy, and price isn't everything. We don't go out and buy a Lexus or a Honda and not know the difference. But on insurance, you don't know the difference until you make a claim.
Right. It's like we always say, do you want your policy to cover when you actually need it to cover? So, Wil, you've been selling insurance with Mercury for about 8 years, right?
Yeah.
How long has Mercury been selling insurance?
Mercury's been in business for over 50 years.
Is that right?
Yep.
So for over 50 years, you've been in Arizona, or?
Based out of California, we've been in Arizona since 2003.
Okay. Now, here in Arizona, the rates are a little bit different than in California, right?
Absolutely.
How does that work with you guys? Is it?
All states are definitely different because insurance is regulated by the state, so it's not federal. So every state's got its own situations. Obviously, we've gone through some catastrophes recently in the Midwest, as everyone knows, but that doesn't exist in Arizona. So it's good that insurance is state related as opposed to federal, because we're kind of taking care of our own problems instead of taking care of everybody else's.
So if there was a wildfire in California, or unfortunately a tornado in the Midwest, those types of things have some impact, but Arizona is a little more insulated because it's its own rating.
Yeah, a lot of the rate has to do with what's happening in your state as opposed to outside, but we all do get affected somewhat when there's something big that happens.
Excellent. Now, you also have kind of told me in the past your company likes to be aggressive in states where rate is fluctuant. There's maybe some accidents, or maybe there's a catastrophe, those types of things. Does that relate to Arizona necessarily as well, or?
Yeah, there's definitely all the states again have kind of individual circumstances. Some are more conservative or liberal than others when it comes to regulations. Some just restrict it a lot. So there's definitely a lot of differences, and Mercury tends to like to solve problems, which is kind of nice because a lot of companies like to get in where everything's perfect and easy.
Sure.
And Mercury likes to. We get in states like Florida.
Right.
Where obviously we have some hurricane disasters out in that area. We get into states, Texas, Oklahoma, and whatnot. So we try to solve problems and get into states where it's harder to write insurance,
right,
less than where it's easy.
Sure, that makes sense. Committed to solving problems. I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Wil, in my introduction, I had mentioned that you were A+ rated. Mm-hmm. What does that mean, and why is it important to insurance companies?
Yeah, an A+ rating, so based on AM Best's rating structure, they look at how financially stable an insurance company is. And again, you get back to, what is an insurance company doing for you? We're paying for what might happen. So it's not going to happen today.
Right.
It might happen tomorrow, or it might happen 5 years from now, or even longer than that.
They don't call it an accident, right? Not on purpose, it's an accident.
Absolutely. Has a business ever gone out of business? Absolutely. So you really want them to be in place. The A+ financial rating says we're solid, we've got the money to back us, and we can pay the claims that we say that we're going to pay. This is really important for your future.
So one of the things that we tell our clients all the time is we want to make sure that you get back to right. Does an A+ rating help that client get back to right?
Absolutely. The rating basically says that not only is the insurance company charging the right money, gathering the right money to pay for the claims, but it's also investing the money, because we get our money today, and again, 5 years from now we might pay for the claim.
Sure. So
we need to invest it properly. So the A+ rating is partially related to how is the money being invested, and is it going to be there in the future?
So you're not going to Vegas and doubling down on black?
I haven't been to Vegas for a while.
Okay, great. So you have 5,500 agency relationships across the country. why is it important for Mercury to sell through an independent agent like All Your Insurance Inc.?
Yeah, we like to use insurance professionals. So as opposed to using a call center
Right.
or something similar to that.
Like
we
the
like-
800 number service,
Ab-
someone online who you might see their commercials over and over again, that type of
Yeah,
company?
absolutely.
Okay.
We like to do it with insurance professionals. So their job, again, is to understand policies, how coverage works. You describe your scenario, they tell you what you need to buy. Choosing by yourself, it can work if you've worked in the insurance field, but it's like a lot of fields, it's very complicated.
Sure.
So you want a doctor doing your surgery, not the
Right. Right.
person that's been there for 6 months.
You mean I can't do my own appendectomy?
No, maybe on your insurance policy.
Okay. So, well, I'd like to throw a hypothetical at you.
Yeah.
Let's say that there are only 3 parts of an insurance contract. One is price. I think everyone really focuses on price quite a bit. But the other 2, let's say they're coverage, the things that are going to pay out in the event of needing to make a claim. The other being exclusions, the things that will not pay in the event that you need to make a claim. Now, if a consumer can only pick 2, and then the insurance company is going to dictate the other one, which 2 should they focus on?
Yeah, I agree. Price is a big concern for a lot of people. We all understand. We don't want to pay more than we have to. We
Right.
understand that. The coverage part is where we're giving you things. We are saying that we are going to cover these things, and these are the coverages that you purchase. So these parts make you happy because the insurance company is taking care of this stuff.
Right?
The exclusions part is the parts that we're not going to take care of. For instance, intentionally damaging your own property.
Sure.
But these are the parts where we would not provide coverage. So these parts a consumer should definitely be focused on, and the insurance agent really should be looking at that for you, which is what they do as a professional. They tell you what this policy should cover and what it's not going to cover. Pricing is interesting because both as an independent agent, you get to shop as many companies as you want. You're shopping
Sure.
more than a dozen companies, Mercury being one of them.
Right.
So you're already taking care of the pricing concern. And insurance companies have mathematicians on staff that sit there and literally crunch thousands and thousands of accidents and scenarios, and they come up with these prices.
Sure.
And really, they do a pretty good job of that for the most part.
Right.
And like I said, you have choices. So you got twofold. Basically, we got the professionals that do it, and then we have the professionals like yourself that'll shop more than one company.
Right.
So coverage and exclusions, I think, is much more important.
So, if a consumer was to go and tell me exactly what it is that they were covering, and tell me how they're using the vehicle so I can make sure they don't get involved in any kind of exclusion situation, and then I do my part and go shop it with over a dozen different companies, really price kind of takes care of itself.
Absolutely, yeah. If a client wants to make themselves happy, you need to choose the coverages that will make them happy. For everything that you decide to take out that a professional like yourself offers them, they're choosing their own unhappiness. They're saying, well, I don't really need rental reimbursement.
Right.
And when somebody hits them without insurance, and they're dissatisfied
Sure.
because they're out a couple $100s.
Right. Right.
They chose that by not buying the coverages.
Okay. So they chose. I also have to guide. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, having insurance usually means that you are trying to protect yourself in the event of something happening. That results in a claim. Although we don't want to have claims in our life, it's going to happen. So when you have to make a claim for coverage, you want to know your insurance company is there for you. You also want to know that you're being respected, I guess, as a consumer, that your money wasn't all wasted. Walk me through like a claims experience with Mercury, and tell me, how is that different than just, say, a normal claims experience?
Yeah. And I've worked for more than one company, and I've been in more than one claims department. And the companies do not all handle things the same way. Not only from a policy construction perspective, but a philosophy on how they take care of customers. And one reason I've been at Mercury for 8 years, we really follow through on our promise. We say we're going to take care of you. You buy the policy that you should buy. You buy the coverages that you should, and you're happy. And I don't get a lot of calls and complaints on my claim wasn't taken care of very well.
Sure.
I sleep really good at night knowing that my company follows through and takes care of their clients. And that's all we do, is we take care of what could happen to you in the future.
Right. That's definitely important. I guess it goes back to the A+ rating, knowing that you have the resource to get our clients back to right if something was going south with a claim. They know they can rely on a company like Mercury.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So I think we learned a lot about Mercury today, and certainly I feel like you guys are there for our clients in a way that maybe other companies don't necessarily take the time to think of, like, how important is A+ rating, having the claims be such an integral part of the customer experience, knowing that you have their best interest in mind is fantastic. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to what this kind of show is really about. WIIFM, what's in it for the client? Why would a client choose Mercury? All the great things we talked about aside, what exactly is in it for them? Why would they choose a Mercury policy?
The internet, for instance, is a fabulous tool. There are many different choices for almost any product, and whoever puts themselves up on the top of the list looks like the most credible. But that's not really how it works in reality. Mercury is really taking care of the clients. The policies are designed to provide coverage, as opposed to we're trying to get your money
Sure.
and not pay for a claim.
Sure.
And that's what people think of when they think of insurance companies sometimes, is we're trying to get out of things. Well, really, if you take the agent's advice, you buy the coverage you should buy, you buy the policy type, you buy into a company like Mercury that's going to take care of you,
Right.
we're going to give you peace of mind. You're going to know that we're going to be there when something horrible happens.
That's very powerful. You're buying peace of mind.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, thanks a lot, man.
Absolutely.
Really
Thanks.
appreciate you being in today.